So people were really beginning to hear about the History Center.
We had publicity almost every week. One of the reporters told me that his editor had complained that he spent too much time at the History Center. Every time we found something, I would call and say, "You can't imagine what I found today." And they would come to look and take a picture because Louis had failed to tell me about some of the important things. And so we simply took pictures of them and advertised it. People came to look at them.
Yeah. Easy to do, to become addicted to things here.
Yes.
Just when you think you've seen it all, you haven't. There's just more and more things come in or uncovered as they're being cataloged.
Well, we began to be used as a research facility. Early on, Adrian Prezzali from the Sonoma researchers came. He'd heard about us and went through some of the boxes, asked me how much our research fee was. And I said, we can't find, or we don't know yet where everything is. We're still putting it together. We haven't set a research fee yet. The next time he came, we had a $10 research fee. We had found things and we had them organized. I think by the time I retired, we were charging $30 for the research. We're used by Caltrans. We're used by all teachers. The campus in Pleasant Hill was very near the first Hayward State University, the Contra Costa County side of Hayward State. Dr. Orsi was a teacher in history. They began to send his students to us. My favorite story is that he sent a young lady named Amy Alagoni. She did her research. She did her first paper on the 1850 census of Contra Costa County, and she did her paper on the Chileans. She liked the work so much and received her degree. She stayed with us for 2 more years as an intern, and she did another paper. She pulled out all the Native Americans from the same census. She applied for a job from William Self Associates, who is an archaeologist, professional archaeologist. Still works for them. And later on, she'd heard about Amelia, my mother, so many times, and the Ginocchio family. And she heard the story about the houses in Oakland being moved, and she called me and said, "I'm on a dig in Oakland on 41st Street." I said, "On 42nd Street." I said, 40th. She said, 42nd, and we went back and forth. I said, "Wait, you're on the dig?" She said, "It's the property that your family bought. Wow. Can you give me some names?" And so I gave her the names, I gave her the dates. She gave me a diagram, which is in my book, Amelia's Nortonville, and we had been working with William Self for years and still are. It's so exciting because she started as a student doing research and now as a professional because of our History Center.
Oh, that's great. You made really quite an impression on her.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. But we made quite an impression on Adrian Prezzali also because he said he thought we were free and now he has to pay.
Yeah.
But the great thing about the Sonoma researchers is that the Las Vaqueras Dam was being built. Prezzali sent, the Sonoma researchers sent a lady named Anna Marie who came every day for over 2 weeks and used Louis, or the county's tax books to find the people and document the people who had lived where the dam is now.
Wow.
She found them and she was very upset one day and said, "I found them, but I can't find where they all went. I've gone to all the churches, I've gone through all the research of all the places in Contra Costa County. What happened to these Basque sheep herders?" Now, knowing the area, and because I had been studying the history of Contra Costa County, I said, "You'll find them in Livermore. It's way out that way. They'll be in Alameda County." And she went to the churches in Livermore. And so we are listed as their prime research
Wonderful.
facility.
Yeah. And so has the History Center received copies of their research material?
Yes.
So that only adds to the value of the collection here. That's great. Are there any other accessions that you'd like to talk about, collections that have come in here at the History Center?
Well, I opened the book so I could remember. Blair Rickson was a lawyer and became a judge. He gave us his collection. He was a judge in East Contra Costa County.
You know, we haven't talked about Veale.
Well, that
Veale
came
collection.
later.
Oh, later, okay.
It came later. We had been asking, we had been bulging at the seams. The library, which was almost on the same campus as we, next to our campus
the Contra Costa County Library
in Pleasant Hill, called and asked, they had been microfilming their newspapers, and they called and asked if we wanted the newspapers.
Oh.
Now, I had no idea what I was getting. I asked for the list, and she said that in her list, Byron Times. Now, the Byron Times is very important. There are very few copies of it, and I was very excited and said, I want them. I drove up on a Tuesday morning, and there was a giant truck parked by our history center, and the gentleman said, I brought the newspapers from the library. He didn't just bring us the Byron Times, he brought us all the papers that they...
Wow.
Now, this is a very small schoolroom.
Right.
We had one section we called the newspaper section, and there were some folios already in there. These boxes and boxes of newspapers filled up the whole area. We had to walk around. We used them as tables. We used them as everything. We finally gave them away to Boy Scouts because we didn't need them all. They were duplicates of what we already had. All because I said yes, I just wanted the Byron Times.
And are these the big bound ledgers
Yes,
that,
yes.
that you have here in the newspaper?
We were so full of all these ledgers. Steve Weir found the original folios from the Martinez Gazettes and gave them to us. We had begun to ask the supervisors for more room. Frank Bray was invited to be on our board of directors. Frank Bray, the son of the original Justice Bray. And Frank Bray called me at home one night and said, would you like Grandpa's collection?
Wow.
Now, yes, I knew who Grandpa was. Grandpa was Veale, Sheriff Veale, who had been sheriff for 40 years of Contra Costa County. I did not know what his collection was. The first delivery was 2 huge station wagons, 64 boxes.
Oh my goodness.
The next collection was 30 some odd boxes. And so the Board of Supervisors very kindly gave us half of another schoolroom directly across from our first one.
I remember that one, yes.
It's called the Veale Annex. And we had a crew, more volunteers arrived who wanted to work on the Veale collection. The Veale collection had been, first of all, in his office. Then it had been taken by his secretaries out, moved, packaged, boxed, and after the 40 years, stored at his son-in-law's house. His daughter was Lila Bray. His son-in-law was Justice Bray, so that was Frank Bray's house, and all of these boxes had been stored in their patio upstairs.
I'm so glad they saw the value and didn't throw them out.
Again, thank goodness they saved them, but they were in very bad condition, so they had to be rehoused. Now, when you receive a collection, it has to be processed. That was the other reason that we went into business as the Board of Supervisors, as Roy Bloss used to put it, in order to buy the acid-free boxes and the acid-free folders. We had to make money in order to make copies, because people would want to buy the copy of the probate. We had to buy the copy machine. So we sold the reprints of the photographs. We sold the reprints of the court cases. The Veale collection was so huge, we pleaded with the Board of Supervisors for more space, and we were given the half a room. And we had another crew of volunteers who came in and worked. They would work across the street, as we called it, in 1700 Oak Park Boulevard, and when they were finished, they'd come over and sit with us in the main room and tell us what they'd read.
And what kinds of items were in the Veale collection?
Everything that he did, every day.
So newspaper articles, court cases, some
There are
photographs,
newspapers
perhaps?
from all over the world, and if it's a newspaper from Chicago, then you search for something that says Veale in it, or California. He and his wife went to Australia to pick up a criminal once and brought him back. That documentation, I mean, I opened a book and thought, why do we have all this information about Australia? Well, he went to pick up the prisoner, brought the prisoner back, took care of his wife, paid her bills, and made sure that when the prisoner was finished with his time. Now, the jail was added on to the courthouse, the main courthouse, here in Martinez. In the middle of Martinez, the section shows up on all the maps as the courthouse square. From the very beginning, our founding fathers decided that that would be the center of Contra Costa County, and it's called the Courthouse Square. And the huge courthouse was built. Veale wanted his jail put on the top of the courthouse. I was told by Frank Bray, the son. It was deemed that that would be way too heavy, so they put it next to it. And at one time, before the original Historical Society was given the 1700 Oak Park, they had negotiated for a while and were going to put us in the jail, the old jail, which is closed and it's at the back. Very inconvenient. I'm not quite sure how we would have fit in there. And we would have
Interesting saying that
outgrown
you're in
it.
the jail, huh?
Yeah, we would have outgrown that just as soon.
Yeah. Well, thank